We live. All right, we're good. Welcome everybody to another episode of Speculation Sunday on a Monday this time. Before we get started, can you guys hear us, see us? Just want to make sure everything's working. This website or this program we use, it's just weird. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we got a lot to talk about today. Today's going to be, for the most part, a theme Speculation Sunday. I was going to call it the pros and cons of the theme parks, but this is going to be like a two-part kind of Speculation Sunday where we're going to talk about the cons, the negatives, and then next week we're going to talk about the pros. And this revolves around rides, lands, food, entertainment, procedures, just whatever the case might be. It's honestly more of let's get real. And we're going to go from Disneyland, Universal Studios Hollywood, and Knott's Berry Farm. So I just want to make it clear we're not here to hate or bash, but it's just more of these are the realities and just things that didn't pan out or didn't work out how they were supposed to, or things that just never came to fruition. This live stream is to talk about all of that because I don't know. You guys know me. I don't always want to paint things as super pixie dust and everything is fine because that's not always the case at all the theme parks. So we're going to go over all that. So this is part one. Let's get negative. And then part two is let's get positive and talk about the good things and the positive things and the things that worked out and have just come to fruition. I can't wait. This is going to be a good part one, part two. We got Just Ask Danny in the house. How you doing, Danny?
Hey, I'm doing good, Mondo. Ready to talk all the negative and positive. I thought it was a good idea when Mondo came up with it. Discuss the good and the bad, but we're doing it in reverse. So we're just discussing the bad and the good.
We're gonna do the bad.
It's better to end on a positive note, I think.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I rather end on the positive, and that'll be next week. So before we ask questions and all that, what negatives do you guys have, or things that didn't work out, or things that you just don't like that are currently happening? Before we get into that, we got to talk about the picture that's in the background, Danny. Disney 100. What are your thoughts? How everything played out? Because in my opinion, it seemed like the only celebration that I saw was in Paris, Danny. You know what happened at Disneyland? We got this. We got Halloween. But let's talk about it. What are your thoughts on this glorious day being Disney 100, Danny? What are your thoughts, dude?
Well, you can see, Mondo, with the float that we got, it was definitely the Super Bowl float. You know what I mean? That they just kind of like redid. I was hoping that they would still have had that Super Bowl float kind of decked out for Disney 100. Because I was hoping we were going to get that like really cool Disney 100 cavalcade that we got for one day when the celebration kicked off. Man. And then we got rid of it. That thing was cool. That was really cool. That's kind of what I was hoping we'd get. But the Halloween cavalcade is definitely cool. It's something that we saw during the pandemic time, when parades hadn't come back just yet. Mm-hmm. So it was cool to see it return. Something Halloween themed at Disneyland before we get the Christmas Fantasy Parade. But I would have loved to see some sort of return back to Disney 100.
I would have thought we're going to pull out 100 characters for the 100 celebration. I thought it would have been Disneyland. I would have never said Paris. Like in my like, if you asked me and like going deep in the thought process, I would have never said Paris.
Yeah, the only
Um,
thing I could think of is that Disneyland. We started the Disney 100 celebration almost a year ago at this
it
point,
feels
and
forever ago.
other than getting the merchandise, the other parks really haven't done anything. And so, Epcot's kicking off its Disney 100 celebration. Disneyland Paris is doing, its thing now too. So the other thing I think is that like they're just letting the other parks that didn't participate right away do a little celebration to kind of continue it on.
Hmm.
But I don't think we're going to see anything big at Disneyland until 75. And I think I've already called it multiple times. I think Disneyland's going to ignore 70 completely. Some people think I'm wrong with that one, but I think it's going to be a merchandise anniversary with
Yeah.
pins, sweatshirts, t-shirts, water bottles, whatever you could think of with says 70 on it, but they're not doing anything till 75. So,
Man, it's crazy. At least do Wondrous Journey today, right? Who cares about Halloween? It's the 100, the Disney 100. You've had this theme park dropping merch every week about Disney 100, and then come Disney 100, uh, they actually start like taking off the 100th stuff on the castle. Somebody tagged me on Instagram. Let me see if I can bring it up real quick. Right here. Somebody tagged me on Instagram earlier today, Danny, and the fairies are gone. Today is the 100th celebration, and they're like, get those fairies off that castle because Christmas is on its way.
it's coming. It's
It's
coming.
just weird. It's just so weird. Um, I honestly would have said the 100 character idea was Disneyland. It's where it all started. Um, it's the whole Walt was here thing. Oh man. All right, that's enough Disney 100. If Disneyland don't care, we don't care, right? Uh, we got to talk about something else, Danny. This was like breaking news and something that just dropped out of thin air. I don't even know. I didn't even know this website existed, and it's this one. And it talks about the Fast and Furious coaster, um, right here. This is the
Yeah.
big O picture. Did you have a chance to look at any of this? Because I know this kind of dropped like a couple hours ago.
Yeah, I did. It looks very similar to like the stuff that Disney has to provide to the community about Disneyland Forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's stuff to the community around Universal Studios and how the roller coaster is going to impact their sight lines, their
Sound.
their sound, just in general, like the way things look and sound around the resort to the
And right
existing place.
there, right here, construction hours. They could only work till 7 p.m.
Yeah,
That's crazy, dude.
it does look like the roller coaster is going to be working at night, though. So it sounds like we might be able to have the roller coaster during Halloween Horror Nights, if all else, if it goes according to plan. Um, the scream tunnels and scream domes and all that stuff on the roller coaster, that's pretty par for the course, right? The California Scream In, before it came the Incredicoaster, it had those too. That's why those domes would only face outward towards the outside of DCA. It wasn't until Incredicoaster where they closed them off completely because they added show elements inside of the tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
But before, they were just scream shields to prevent people from screaming, or at least prevent the screams from being heard outside the park as much as they're heard inside the park. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but we'll have to see how good of a job that actually does. They said it
Yeah.
has like, in that article there, it said that there's like they're made of some special material that's like absorbs
Yeah.
sound.
Right here, Danny. It says sound wall longer than 2 football fields. A sound wall will be built, compromise of acoustic block material, the state of the art sound absorbing product to help reduce sound from the attraction from traveling into the community. they're gonna build a wall 2 football fields long, dude. What? I don't know where that's gonna be built, but damn, I guess. To me, they would only be building a wall 2 footballs field long because this thing's gonna be loud as heck. It's gonna be super loud. I don't know what else to say. And not even that. I just want to throw it out there. Maybe they're building a two football field long wall because more's coming. It's not just for the roller coaster. It's more. Some things, I don't know where, but more. Because this ain't the end of whatever Universal Studios Hollywood's preparing to do, in the near future. This is just one of the projects.
Yeah.
It's pretty unreal, Danny. It was originally Jurassic World, Secret Life of Pets, what was the other one? Super Nintendo World, and now freaking Fast and Furious roller coaster. Bam, 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 bam. It's crazy. It's crazy. But is there anything you want to talk about before we get into the themed Speculation Sunday?
No, I think that was it. Really, the only other change was to tickets pricing. Since last Speculation Sunday, the prices went up at Walt Disney World and Disneyland for annual passes, for tickets. That's a little bit of a change that it's worth mentioning. So, I guess it's something that we should expect right every year, but we didn't know when it was going to happen. We didn't get pass increases the previous year, so we were wondering when it was going to come. They let a lot of us who had passes from the beginning renew, and then they increased prices, which was kind of nice, giving us one more year with the prices that we had before. But still, it's getting kind of expensive to go to Disneyland.
Look at this Saturday, $194 for a one park.
One park, like one park only.
Just one park. That's it. Just one park. Oh man, let's talk about the prices real quick, Danny, before we get into the theme Speculation Sunday. The prices on the tickets, it's to be expected. They do it every year. The one that I feel hurt is the 2 middle passes, which is the Believe and Enchant. If I'm not mistaken, they both went up $150, and at the same time, parking went up to $35. So it wasn't that they just got a higher payment now; it's also a higher payment when you park, because those one of them has 50% off parking, and Enchant has nothing. So I don't know. We'll see how things play out. I still believe at the end of the day, their goal is to reduce crowds. There's no other reason to keep raising these prices than they just hey, people are coming at this capacity. We could raise the prices and then have this lower crowd, and we're still in the profit margin that they're comfortable with, and they have reservations, so they know exactly what these numbers are. They're not guessing anymore. I feel the raising of prices and all that. I've gone through this for who knows how many years. But the one crazy part to talk about prices is I feel like from a Knott's to a Universal to a Disneyland, there's never been such a wide gap. And the Platinum, which is the highest pass at Universal, is $639. And a pass that's the highest at Disneyland is Inspire is $1,650. So pretty much $1,000 more than Universal. I don't know if the gap's ever been that big. Have you? And then when you talk about the gap between a Knott's pass and a Disneyland, we're talking $1,400. It's just. What are your thoughts when we know these gaps? It's never been so big. It's never been so big between passes. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, that's the hard part, because when you think not that long ago, just prior to even the pandemic, I mean, I think you and I were paying. What did we pay for the Premier Pass, Mondo? Was it 2,000?
It was 2,000, but you got all of Walt Disney World and all of Disneyland.
Yeah, all of what. So you're basically paying about 1,000 each, which now you can't even do, right? You don't
Can't,
even
it
get
doesn't
that.
even exist.
So and it actually came with a ton more at Walt Disney World than the passes do now. So you could get passes for like $899 if you just wanted Disneyland or something like
Right,
that.
right
So
here, Danny. Look, 2018. This is just 2018.
yeah. Oh, I forgot about Signature and Signature Plus.
The you know, 2018 wasn't that long ago.
I know we're not that far off, actually, Mondo, from paying what we paid for Premiere just for Disneyland. We're not that far.
Damn. I don't doubt that in the next like 3 or 5 years, Disneyland will probably be $2,000 for the highest key or whatever program they have in 5 years. That's a crazy thought. I just like I think the most loyalist of fans. I almost feel like they're just gonna find a way to make it happen. But I feel like this time around, the conversation has got more of like, I just don't think I could afford this anymore, or these tickets are just getting too high. I feel like I'd rather just go 1 day instead of a 3 day. Like I feel like that conversation has got a little bit stronger this year more than ever. Um, from a ticket perspective, I still think, as crazy as sounds, a 1,650 Magic Key is still absolutely worth it. You don't have to pay prices or tickets. Dude, I don't ever want to go back to buying tickets. It was brutal. I still can't believe these prices. Oh, dude, the signature passport, no blockouts. If I'm not mistaken, it came with Express or not Express. What was it called? Max Pass?
Max Pass, yeah.
Was it Max Pass? Yeah.
It's crazy because
$1,000.
back in the day when I was working in the hotels, um, sometimes I would just like recommend when guests were trying to buy tickets, you'd be like, oh, you should just upgrade to a pass, and then you could get like that. And now it's like if you look at the math, you couldn't even do that. Like you couldn't recommend that anymore because it just doesn't make sense. It's cheaper for them to buy a ticket like multi-day than it is to do a pass.
It's like, well, your $194 ticket, you just need 1,400 more for the Inspire. Our Knott's Adventure, what is your price max that you would pay for a Disney pass? For me, I feel like 2,000 is where I really start considering like, holy. So like, I just feel like you really have to think about it at that point. Because
Yeah,
I did the premiere and when it was 2,000.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Mondo.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I've done 2,000 already when we had premiere, which that was a while ago. Uh, but yeah, 2,000 is where you're just kind of like, dude, damn, this is it might. How many times do I have to go to Disneyland to make it worth it? Kind of, I don't know. I know for a fact I'm gonna go enough, but it's just it's not just about me, but it's just, yeah, 2,000. I feel like that's just crazy. Like, when Disneyland becomes 2,000, does Universal get to 1,000 even? Probably not. I don't know, dude. It's just wild to think that like Six Flags Knott's are like under 200, and then Universal's 630 or 640, and then 1,650. It's just wild. I don't know. What's your Disney Pass limit, Danny? Where you're just like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, it's probably 1,000 or 2,000, just like yours, because I paid it before.
Yeah,
Um,
but it
and then
hurts. 2,000 hurt.
and then from there, if they kept going up, I would just decrease what pass I had and try to go less. You know what I mean? Like it's all about like at that point, I don't think it'd be worth spending more than that to have the most expensive pass. I would just go less.
Yeah, just the frequency goes down of visits.
Yeah.
We got Space Mountaineer with 3 months of membership. Thank you. Parking is $17.50 now for Believe keys. What's up with Disney collecting 50 cents? It's half. It's $35. It's half of the 35. That's just really what it is. Uh, like even if it was like, I don't know, like $37, it would still be half of whatever that. It's just you get 50% off parking. All right, I want to get this party started. Let's go. Speculation Sunday. All right, let's get negative. Let's get negative. I was actually having a hard time, Danny, getting negative. I'm always so positive. I try to stay in the positive, see the vision, and whatever. We're gonna start off with Disneyland. I want to start off with Disneyland. So I had a chance to write a couple things down. I'm gonna just shoot them off, and we'll bounce ideas. And maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on some of these negatives. Maybe I was just tripping.
You said you're starting in where?
Disneyland. We're gonna start off with Disneyland, and we'll ask the chat too. But I want to get mine out there first, and then maybe Danny has some too, and then we'll go to the chat, and we'll do the same thing for Knott's, and we're gonna do the same thing for Universal. We're no sugar coating at all today. All right, Disneyland. This is my biggest negative right now, and I feel for me, maybe I had it too good. I had it too good back then. No summer theme at all anymore. Danny, can you take me back to the Pixar Fest era? Dude, we had it too good. It's to me. Did Galaxy Edge just ruin summer themes? Because that's what it was. Once Galaxy's Edge came, they're like, we're done. We're not doing summer themes. Or was summer theme just a random thing that came like 2017, 2018? What are your thoughts on that one, dude?
Do you count Disney 100 as a summer theme since we had the decor and all that stuff, or you don't count it?
I don't count Disney 100, dude. What foods came with Disney 100?
A purple pretzel.
What happened?
A purple pretzel.
A purple pretzel. Oh my gosh. Do we consider Disney 100 a theme, a summer theme? It can't be a summer theme. It started in February. Dude, to the likes of Pixar Fest, and was it Mickey's 90th or 95th that got celebrated that one summer?
Mickey 90.
Mickey 90, dude. Pixar Fest, Mickey 90. Epic time to be a Disneyland fan. And to me, because I didn't really get into the Disney like fanatic world until like 2016-ish. When was Pixar Fest? What year was that?
I think it was 2018.
2018. Oh my gosh, dude. Do you think that's a big negative? Or for you, you're cool with no theme, summer theme? Like, you're not? It's not a big deal.
No, I loved the summer themes. I loved Get Your Ears On, Disney 100, or the Mickey 90 celebration, and then also the Pixar Fest celebration. I thought it was a lot of fun. It's something to do in the summer that's not just like 4th of July or something like that. There's always a reason to come during Halloween, during Christmas, but there's never really time to do something fun at the summer at Disneyland other than just like it being really hot, or just in general it's crowded because people are out of school. Like, it was cool to have an actual theme and something that was totally fun, that you don't normally see. The special Pixar food. They had a special edition of the Pixar Play Parade.
Hey, look how hard they went, Daddy.
Yeah, the Together Forever fireworks show. It was fun, and it was all kind of coinciding with the opening of Pixar Pier. So,
dude, like, I don't know. To me, the summer theme, it was just like, to me, for me personally, it was like peak Disneyland. For like as long as I've been a pass holder, it was just peak Disneyland because you had this parade at Disneyland, paint the night at night at DCA. You had the Forever Together fireworks, and then not even that, like the food creativity, Danny. And the same thing kind of went for when Mickey's 95th or 90 whatever. The creativity was just, it was just like an all time high. I feel like. Dude, seeing that trailer right now really hit me in the heart, dude. Oh, I miss Paint the Night. All right, let me go to another one. I don't know if this is a valid one or not. Do you feel creativity has gone down at Disneyland Resort? Disneyland Resort, or am I tripping? What are your thoughts?
Like in regards to what?
Everything. Like, man, I guess I gotta just be straight up honest. Web slingers, what 2022 technology, and you drop web slingers, and another one that like I would say is, I would honestly have to say like Smuggler's Run having one ride, like ride through. I feel like that was a big that hurt the ride. That's what I'm trying to say. I feel like if that ride was like the same system as like a Star Tours, where even if it just had like 4 layouts, it would just be so much better. But another one, I guess I could just say creativity from like let's just retheme things.
Yeah.
We're in the retheme era, Danny. There we go. I'll just go to that. We're in the retheme era. Oh man, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you could definitely argue that there's a lot of difference. I wouldn't say that there's no creativity because we see it internationally, right? And it's still the same. It's still the same WDI team. It's just I think it more boils down to um, Disney Imagineering is given has an idea, and then they give it to the people that give money, and then the people that give money are like, no, you can do this with half the money that you want, and then they have to go back and kind of rethink what they want to do. And I think for all of our projects that haven't done well recently, that's always the root cause of it all. You know, with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, so much of it doesn't look anything like the concept art that we got. Not saying that the product that we have isn't good, because it definitely is, but there was so much that was shown that we didn't get, right? There was like a lot more like lush plants around the Black Spires that we didn't see. They said they were going to have droids walking around. They said that we were going to have other characters walking around. We had an original attraction where you could ride on a bantha or a dewback or something that never came to be because they cut that. They cut the dinner restaurant and then turned it into the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, which that didn't work out. Yeah. So it's like everything that they've done where they cut it, it seems to be an issue. And you'd almost think that, hey, maybe we should stop cutting these projects, because then we have to go back and fix them and spend twice as much money if we would have just spent the money from the beginning.
Toontown.
And it's like they can't ever realize that. It's like, DCA should have been the first example, right? It costs $2 billion for Disney to redo Disney California Adventure after the first version in their mind failed, right? And so, it wasn't attracting guests. People didn't want to go to it. People weren't spending the money to go there. It was always like, as an annual pass holder, you could go to Disney California Adventure and there was never crowds there. And it was like totally fun as an annual pass holder. But it wasn't what Disney wanted as far as having guests stay there. So they spent $2 billion to redo the park, and they rededicated it in 2012, open with Cars Land and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's because the first time around, they had these really grandiose plans to build like a Western version of Epcot, and just these huge, massive addition. And then, the Michael Eisner era people that were in charge didn't want to do that, and they cut the budget, and they made the Imagineers come up with a new design, very last minute, famously so. It's talked about all over the internet. And they came up with a last minute decision of what we got as California Adventure, the first version. And and that was a huge mistake money wise, that they cut to try to save money, and then they had to spend more money. And then they did the same thing for Star Wars. They cut, and it didn't do as well as they wanted it to do. It's not that it's not a good product. It's just not. It wasn't giving them Harry Potter and the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Like, that's what they were trying to recreate. I think the only thing that they did in recent times where they didn't cut the budget and like it did really, really well has been like Avatar. Like, they did exactly what they were going to do. And it seemed like Joe Rohde really was able to do what he wanted. And when you're in Pandora, the world of Avatar, it seems that way, right? It seems like they spent the money on it, and it seems very immersive and cool. But like, there's just so many examples. Toontown, I don't necessarily want to say that Toontown was an example of that. I feel like it was kind of a mix of both. They probably went with a cheap contractor to execute all their plans, in addition to the terrible weather we had during the time they were supposed to construct it, and then pushing back on those cheaper contractors to try to finish the job in the short amount of time they had left because of the weather. And then that's the result of what we have now, where they're going back and spending tons of money fixing all the issues that Toontown has, when they could have just maybe picked a better contractor from the beginning. We're seeing that over at Disney's Pixar Place Hotel, right? The rooms aren't even done yet, but the rest of the hotel's done.
We're seeing that at the villas.
Yeah.
Somebody was telling me that they heard a story that they had like 2 connecting villas or something, and they were told that like these rooms are not safe right now, so we actually don't even have a replacement for you. And she was like, what does that even mean? Who knows what kind of electrical or what was going on, but that was literally what was like said, like that it wasn't safe. You couldn't be in those rooms. And then one thing, like, I've just heard there's a lot of electrical issues that happen with the opening of the villas and stuff like that. Yeah.
I just feel like at some point, like, if you could say anything negative about like lack of creativity, I don't necessarily know it's lack of creativity. I think it's just lack of
let me just say this.
Too much
Let me
bean
say
counters involved.
We lost Fantasmic. It's Halloween. It is the heart of Halloween, and we get a frog projection show.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, and this show's gonna be running in Christmas too, which I guess. It's just like, what? They could, like, what I'm trying to say with creativity is like another thing. We lost Mickey's Magical Map, and they just ran Lion King forever in there. And I'm not trying to hate on Lion King because it's a beautiful show, but like, dude, we had Mickey's Magical Map. Like, I don't think Lion King compares to Mickey's Magical Map, especially too of like there was so much character in that and variety instead of just one. I don't know. I kind of, as weird as it sounds, like I feel like Mickey's Magical Map was getting like to the point where like people were not so fond of it, but now that it's gone, it's like, dude, it was so good. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like it all boils down to, and that was one of my negatives that I had written down was, the budgeting. Like, I think the allocation of money and how things are spent. I don't know. Maybe since Bruce Vaughn is back now, and Walt Disney Imagineering as the creative executive, maybe we'll get back on track with some of those things. But I just think right now that was one of my negatives, is that like they're obviously being cut with budget, and then Imagineering has to rethink what they're going to do. Maybe they have to go with a contractor they didn't really want to use. And that's because their hands being forced, right? We know with money they can do what they want to do, but it seems like they're getting the short end of the stick. And with even with things like Avengers Campus, right? Like a lot of the land really um, leaves a lot to be desired, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like we've never gotten the second attraction, or I guess the third attraction if you count the other one. But there were some things they did so good there, like the super creative way that didn't cost really any money to to incorporate Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout into how it arrived in Avengers Campus, and like the ooze around the building and how it just essentially appeared there, with like some sort of teleportation, or I'm not sure how, but they explained it. But like having that there as part of the storyline, like super creative, like couldn't even get more creative, and probably didn't cost that much money for them to drill into the ground and put the acrylic there to make the ooze. And then even then, just that attraction, right? Joe Rohde was given like 6 months or however much time, and probably a very small budget to make Tower of Terror into Guardians of the Galaxy, and it has such a great storyline. It was such a great execution. It had good animatronics, in the pre-show. It's a fun ride, and it's fun over and over.
I'm so shocked that Mission Breakout did what it did in that
Mm-hmm.
turnaround that it had. And it works, still works like great.
Yeah, so I think it's just
let me say this, Danny. Look, this is where Disney was at one point in time. What year was Electronica?
I guess you could argue that there's some departments that lack creativity. Not when it comes to like building new attractions and lands. I think it's more so like these departments, the people that are in charge of doing some of these events, right? And we're not going to get any of these like electronica.
Look at that, they're still cooking on this thing right here.
We're not going to get any. We're not going to get any of these electronica or Mad Tea Party type events anymore, because these are all paid events now, right?
Look at this. They had an arcade back then.
I know, and I think that's where the creativity is a little bit less. And I don't know if it has to do with budget again, but this was an event that didn't cost anything, and it's arguably much better than any paid After Dark event I've ever been to, with the exception of maybe Oogie Boogie Bash, as far as how much they go to like execute it, right?
Yeah. They just like. I just want to ask, like, what do you think keeps Disneyland from going to do these type of things again? Is it just they don't care? They don't care to do this, or they just went into the whole, hey, people will pay extra for this, and we'll just do after dark events.
It's probably a mix of both, right? The studios help Disney pay for a lot of this, right? People think of Disney as a large company, but in actuality, it's a bunch of smaller companies that all work independently. And, even though they overall maybe share the same revenue and stuff, they have their own budgets. They have to communicate with each other, share things. If Disney's using something that's Pixar, right, they may have to bill and pay Pixar to use it, even though it's in their same company. They still have to do that. So with Electronica, the studios, helped fund that because the movie came out.
And what about the Mad Tea Party, though?
Same thing. It was when the Alice in Wonderland movies were coming out.
So, dude, look at DCA. DCA never looked so good. Like, yeah. What about the concept of like live entertainment too? It's like very minimal now.
Yeah, I mean, it is compared to the past, like with some of these things for sure. People really got into the Mad Tea Party, and also it could be too that Disney just doesn't want to do these kind of events to like attract more locals to be coming back more and more.
That is true, because this brought the locals without a doubt.
Yeah, they'd rather do things that would attract like vacationers and stuff like that. And if you think about those paid After Dark events, those are going to attract vacationers for sure.
That's true. I never looked at it that way. That they don't want the local. That's right. They want the people who are trying to plan months in advance, right? A trip.
Yeah. But let's take a quick break real quick. We got a couple of super chats. So we got a super chat that you missed, Mondo, from Vegas Film Critic. He
Vegas
sent
Film Critic!
And he said, happy 100 years of Disney, Mondo. You too, Danny. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Hey, I'm excited. I had a chance to see the short that just came out, and it was beautiful. What was it called? Once Upon a Studio? Once Upon a Studio, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I watched it late at night yesterday when I got home, and I almost like, not that I wanted to cry or nothing, but it felt emotional to watch, to see Genie and Moana and I think it was Rapunzel and like a snake. I can't remember the snake's name. Like interact. It was just characters that have no right of interacting with each other were interacting with each other, and it was just cool. It was cool to see animation of, like, I guess you could almost say what we grew up with back into life in 2023. It was just beautiful. It was a beautiful short. I was very sad that it was only like 8 minutes at the most, but it was a really good 8 minutes. I hope Disney keeps. I don't know. Well, I guess Disney Wish is one of their animations that are coming to life soon, but that old animation, it still hits really hard. I have no complaints. Everything doesn't have to look like it's Pixar or, I guess, DreamWorks. But yeah. But thank you, Vegas Film Critic. Happy Monday. Also, too, I think we got some gifted memberships from Virginia Lake. Dropping the fire.
Yep. And then we also have another super chat that you missed, Mondo, from Tony G, who sent $2 and says, what do you think about Tiana's Bayou mural? I would imagine Tony's probably referring to the one at Walt Disney World.
Let me see if I could bring it up. My first thoughts, I have to be honest, confused. I don't know what to think about it. That's really the answer. I just don't know the vision. You know, we don't have like a full layout of what Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to look like. But I did not expect, for me personally, I didn't expect this mural. I had no idea this was coming. So it was just like, is this coming to Disneyland too? I would assume it is. But I don't know. My thoughts are, I'm kind of speechless, to be honest. I don't know how this fits in the story or what they're trying to do with it, but that's my thoughts. What are your thoughts, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how it fits into the storyline. I'm not quite sure, right? Because this is all like the ride's taking place like sequel, right? It's like after the events of the movie occurred, so it's a little bit afterwards. So we're kind of
like, that's right. Like there could be a Disney Plus show that'll make sense of any of this.
Yeah,
we don't know the show yet.
Yeah, it could make sense as to why Tiana has a business. Like the only reason why I know it and I'm able to explain the backstory of Tiana's Bayou Adventure and how it ties in with Eudora's Chic Boutique in New Orleans Square and then Tiana's Palace restaurant is because, you know, the Imagineers explained all this to us at D23 Expo. If you spent the time talking to them around all the models of the different things that they had on display there. But if you didn't do any of that, the average guest isn't going to know. They know Princess and the Frog, the movie. They know the songs from that ride or that movie that they love and can sing and get stuck in their head, right? So this isn't going to really resonate with them, at least now, unless they know the reasoning behind it. So I would imagine they'll probably share that at some point, but unless it's just kind of placemaking the area, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Do you think it comes to Disneyland, or is that a Walt Disney World thing?
I don't know. They have a lot more space and buildings to kind of do this to because their Splash Mountain is in Frontierland. And so they have like this whole kind of like village area that we don't have at the exit that has all these different buildings. There's like a big Splash Mountain shop. And then there's like the photo area, which is its own thing. And like all these, and then plus their outdoor queue is like in the middle of all that. So like this is in that outdoor queue area. So it's much different layout than ours. Ours is kind of surrounded by Winnie the Pooh and stuff. So I couldn't really see them.
Maybe there's no space for ours.
Yeah, maybe they do something similar like this on the barn doors for the Splash
I
Mountain.
can see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that. Kind of like how we had like, I don't want to say it was a mural, but in Toontown where they had the mini wall, and then I think it was like Mickey and Minnie also were on there at one point. You know which those doors in Toontown?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We got another super chat from Space Mountaineer 92. I know we'll never get the real answer, but why did Disney allow Murphy to burn down to a crisp and the loss of Ghost Galaxy? I don't think they allowed it to burn to a crisp.
Yeah.
I think it was more of they couldn't put it out. How are they gonna get on the island? We're talking like 30-year technology and probably 30-year-old safety rules and regulations that like, dude, I don't know what the answer is of how Phantasmic comes back, and there ain't no animatronic coming anytime soon. We can't even get a refurb on Tomorrowland to get a dragon animatronic. They should contact whoever made the Indominus Rex and get them to do a dragon. I'm just saying. Why do you think we lost Ghost Galaxy? What are they just not? The current Disney doesn't care for that?
I don't know why we lost Ghost Galaxy. I feel like that'd be such an easy thing to transition to. The whole reason the projections that they use every single year for Star Wars version, the Hyperspace Mountain or whatever, is because of Ghost Galaxy. Those screens and everything were added, and projections were added because of Ghost Galaxy. And then they just used them for Hyperspace Mountain. So I don't know why they don't bring it back, other than maybe they got complaints about it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
But like, maybe they just looked at it as like, is this family friendly? And the answer probably just came back as no. I don't know what else to say. I enjoyed Ghost Galaxy, but like I'm not the biggest fan of it. I didn't really care for it, honestly, too much. Like if Hyperspace left, I think it would be a big loss. Hyperspace Mountain is awesome. It's so good. Carla and Kiko, 27 books. Happy Speculation Sunday on a Monday. Can't wait to hang out after you get out of your Disney reservation jail. I can't wait to get out too. It sucks too because when I'm out of the Disney jail, I'll be on a cruise and Halloween's over, so it is what it is. I'll be celebrating Disney Halloween just on a cruise, not at Disneyland. But I'm excited. It's okay. I definitely feel being in the penalty. I don't ever want to be in this penalty again. So, gosh. Let me bring up this one first before I keep going what I want to say. We got Disney Fanchan, 25 months of membership. By the way, Carla Kiko, fire. I can't wait to hang out again. And thank you guys for going live at the Oogie Boogie. I was watching you guys. We got Disney Fanchan. I want to discuss the increase in fights at all the parks. What is going on? It's very disheartening. Yeah, let's talk about it. Did you have a chance to see the video or read about it or anything, Danny? For me, I didn't even know about this fight till today, like midday. I kept seeing it, I kept hearing it, and I was like, I'll just include it in my video that I did earlier. Did you have a chance?
I did see it. Yeah, I did see it.
For me, it was just more of like, there's no context, we're just getting this I don't want to say a random video, but it's just a fight that happened and who knows why. My thoughts, to me, it happens at all the theme parks. I don't say that like in a nice way, but like fights happen at the theme parks. You're getting 30,000 people from all around the world, honestly, every day at Disneyland, maybe even 40,000 people. I feel like things like this, they're just bound to happen. The most important part is that Disney has so much security, eyeballs, and all the cameras and everything going on. And the most important part is that like it wasn't a Toontown thing where they just didn't respond, for who knows how long. So
Toontown Brawl.
but when it comes down, I always feel safe no matter what at Disneyland, and especially I feel the safest at Universal. Honestly, that's where I feel the most safest. But yeah, I wouldn't, because I was reading the Orange County article, Orange County Register article earlier, and they're like trying to make it seem like more fights are happening at theme parks and at Disneyland. I don't think that's the case, right? I don't feel like there's more fights happening across the board from theme parks, because like from what as far as my eye could see, Knott's really like put the whole, there ain't no fighting, there ain't no they did chaperone policy, and they even have Buena Park PD on property all the time. So I don't know. I feel like the theme parks have done measures to lessen these things. From as far as your eye can see, Danny, have things increased when it comes down to fights? What are your thoughts?
No, I feel like it didn't increase. I think just there's more vision on it, right? So like people wanna film it to get views, whether that's on YouTube, TikTok, or X, right? So in the case of Knott's Berry Farm, the issue they were having was that young kids were wanting to do it on purpose to get views and all that kind of stuff. And it's just
Viral.
it's just a different society in that sense. At Disneyland, they're not really seeing that, right? But they're seeing, it doesn't stop people from, documenting when there's someone yelling at a cast member, or if there's a fight between two families coming out. Like people want to have that next viral video that gets shared on the news, that gets shared all over Twitter, whatnot. So I think we're just seeing more visibility of it than we did before, because fights happened all the time back in the day, especially like places like Six Flags. Knott's had them always. Like there was that time of day when Knott's would just flip, right, and it would just turn into like a different crowd than was there during the park in the day. And the fights happen, but you just didn't see it because like people aren't posting stuff all over the place all the time. So now it's just a little bit more, you see videos online of like police arresting someone, and there's always like 25 people in the background all filming the police officer arresting that person, because they want to be the next video that's like got a police officer doing the wrong thing. You know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's all the same story.
Yeah, I feel these things have always been happening. It's just like you said, social media. It's the biggest it's ever been, social media wise. But from a Knott's Universal Disneyland, there's security everywhere, and the thought of safety is like at an all-time high. I feel like more than ever currently. Chris Hatch, thank you for joining the Five Fire Club. Appreciate you becoming a Five Fire member. Five Fires.
I had a couple topics too, Mondo, that I wanted to.
Let's bring it up. Bring it up. We have time.
So you mentioned like, so one of mine was with like the budgets, right? I felt like that was really, at what point does Disney just realize that, hey, we should spend the money from the beginning, do the problem, get it done the way we want to, so that there's not an opportunity where we have to do it over and over again. But I just keep seeing it happen over and over again. Like Mondo said, with some of the issues they were having at the new villas, we're seeing it play out now at the Pixar Place Hotel, where that was supposed to already basically be done at this point, and the rooms haven't been completed. The rest of the hotel's done, but it's not where they want it to be. And there's so many other situations that come into play, like Steakhouse 55. Why don't they have the budget to have that restaurant open? They're charging a ton of money to stay at that hotel. They have added 300 rooms with more guests that need dining space. Why isn't there budget? Why can't they hire enough people to open a new restaurant that's fine dining? Why is the only fine dining location at the Grand Californian Hotel? Like, there's just a lot of, it wasn't until just a couple months ago that room service returned to the resort just before it opened. So there's just a lot of things. It's like, why are these compromises being made and these budgets being cut when in the end they have to just, compensate for that, whether that's redoing it, whether they have to compensate a guest for being upset that something's not available, like a Steakhouse 55 or room service. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know the math behind it all, because I feel like if we went back and did all the math, the money that they're spending to fix Toontown probably costs more than if they just did it right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And the same goes for Galaxy's Edge. If they had just opened.
I had that down too, Danny. I put Disneyland builds lands and rides, but doesn't fully complete them and leaves things stranded. That's what I wrote that down too. I agree.
I don't get the mentality of that, because it's like, if they had built the dinner show with August Cantina, like, I feel like that would still be popping to this day.
It sold out reservations forever. But now you just get 2 drink limits, and you got to.
And I think we're living through the next big experiment, right? And the next big experiment is Disney's Pixar, or I guess it's just called Pixar Place Hotel. I keep wanting to say Disney's, but since it's Pixar, they're not doing that. So the Pixar Place Hotel, right? This is going to be the first hotel that I've ever known that's a Disney property, at least domestically in the US, that doesn't have Disney owned and operated food service. Like they brought in a chain
Maple. What's it called? Maple Bacon?
The Great Maple.
The Great Maple.
Yeah, they brought in the Great Maple to do not only the restaurant, but the quick service cafe and the concierge lounge. And
my next trip out there, I'm going to go to Pixar Place. I want to see all that stuff for myself.
Yeah, and then also the sand bar or whatever, the bar out by the pool, that's supposedly also going to be run by the Great Maple. So, is Disney bringing in a third party to save money? And are they going to regret that decision later on when, it's not a Disney owned and operated themed restaurant, right? People want to spend money going to like a themed restaurant at a Disney resort. That's kind of like the fun of it all. You know what I mean? That's like, if I want to go to the Great Maple, I can drive to Newport Beach and go to Fashion Island. That's where the Great Maple is, right? I can go to San Diego. There's another one there. So it's like, it's not.
Do you feel like the Great Maple won't even feel Disney at all when you're in there?
I don't think so. But again, this could be.
That's kind of weird.
This could be an experiment that they want to try, right? Like, the guests that are vacationing at Disneyland are definitely a lot different in their mind than the guests that are vacationing at Walt Disney World. So maybe this is the kind of style that they want. They want more of like an LA swanky type of hotel that's more modern, has like nice dining locations that aren't themed. And we're getting more of kind of like that Vegas, right? That kind of Vegas vibe. And the Pixar Place Hotel is so different in that way. So maybe this is sort of an experiment and they can see, okay, how do we want to move in the future? Like as far as the Steakhouse 55 location, maybe if the Great Maple is a success, maybe we do see Steakhouse 55 come back, but it comes back as a totally third party restaurant that's not owned by Disney at all. Mm-hmm. It might be a huge, way for them to save money. Disney battles a lot with its labor unions. Maybe, maybe that's kind of pushing their hand. You know what I mean? Like the more food locations they have, the more labor unions, cast members they have. So if they send it out to a third party, they don't have to deal with that. They just have a third party that has their own employees and they pay Disney rent. So who knows? It's like, I just feel like these cuts, I don't know how it's going to work out for them. And for Great Maple to run like every aspect of the food at that hotel kind of scares me a little bit, because what if it's
Well,
not
one
good?
thing too, downtown Disney is completely like third party, right? Uh,
Yeah.
we got Din Tai Fung, we got Portos, these four new restaurants that have nothing to do with Disney. Uh, it's wild. They're just like we don't want to do another Craftsman's, Goofy's Kitchen, Steakhouse 55's. What was Whitewater Snacks? What did that Lounge, or no, Craftsman's Bar? What do they call it?
Grill. Craftsman's Grill and Bar, yeah.
Craftsman's Grill. What was that Pixar Pier before?
They had they didn't really have anything because towards the end they had a restaurant off of the lobby front desk, and it wasn't really a restaurant; it was just a bar, and it was called the Surfside Lounge, and it served like to go food for a while and had like a menu that you could order from. But then after a while, like they just cut the food and they had like to go options in like a case, for like breakfast and stuff, like muffins and pastries and all that kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
you'd find at the coffee shop at Disneyland Hotel. And then, of course, they served drinks all day long, but they didn't serve really any food, and of substance anyway. So, and then they had the sandbar out by the pool, which was like, served your normal like burgers, chicken tenders, all that kind of stuff. Um, and then they had PCH Grill, which was their character dining. So that's, they lost PCH Grill for Great Maple, and then the Surfside Lounge is going to be whatever they call that Pixar cafe that has like the artwork in it that they're building right now.
Yeah.
And then whatever the sandbar is going to be, I don't know. I mean, it's there, but it's not open.
Well, to give a little more meat on the bone of your conversation you're talking about, Annie. I know it's different. But I have to say it. Walt Disney World. Walt Disney World embraces the whole like we're doing these restaurants. These are Disney owned, from a Tiffin's, to a Yachtsman Steakhouse, to freaking Sauna, to Boathouse. Is Boathouse a Disney thing?
No, Boathouse isn't,
Yeah.
but I think it's
California
important.
Grill. There we go. California Grill.
I think it's important that even some of those things that you mentioned, like for instance, you brought up Disney's Animal Kingdom, right? There's a restaurant in Animal Kingdom called Yak and Yeti. It's been there since like the beginning, and it's super popular. It's themed entirely to fit the land that it's in, and it matches everything. It's like themed to that area. It's themed to Asia, inside Animal Kingdom. Yak and Yeti is actually owned by, I think it's I forget the seasoning company that owns like the Rainforest Cafe. It's like that same company.
Here we go.
So it's not even
The better
it's not
list.
even
There's a better explanation right here.
Yeah, so a lot of these restaurants inside Disney World, some of them aren't even owned by Disney, but they still adhere to the theme, and you would never know it. The only reason why you know it is because like when you go to use your pass there, or like your Magic Band to like buy stuff or like use your credits and stuff, they'll be like, "Oh, we're not Disney owned, so we can't accept that," or something like that. And you'd be like, "Oh, I didn't even know. Like I would never have known."
Yeah. Hey, Disneyland, I would love for all of these restaurants to come this way, especially Ohana. Gosh,
Yeah.
give us Ohana.
My favorite's on that list right there.
Which one, Danny?
Citrico's.
Citrico's. Damn.
Yeah, I love Citrico's.
Dude, this whole list right here. This is an amazing list just right here.
Mm-hmm.
But Disneyland's like, we want Portos, we want Din Tai Fung, we want the Great Maple, just we want Black Tap, we want what was the other one? The bar, the brewery, or what is it called again? Ballast Point.
Ballast Point, yeah.
What
I can
about
never remember that name, Mondo. I like
Yeah,
every time I
Ballast
go
Point.
think of that, it always like completely like I never remember the name of that place.
It leaves my mind. We got a $10 super chat from Alyssa. Alyssa says, split this with Danny. My biggest complaint about Disney is merch. Still waiting for Tokyo quality merch. Danny, how is the Eras Tour movie? I'm going this weekend. Taylor Swift is bringing back the economy. Disney merch, I feel it was all over with Mickey's 90th. It all stopped being cool at Mickey's 90th. I feel like that was the last time it hit hard, where you're just like, I want everything. I want it all. We are definite. Like Christmas just came out. Big fail. I don't know anybody that's bought Christmas merch. I could imagine a lot of people are, but just from my circle, nobody's buying Christmas merch. What do you think, Danny? Is the merch really is it really that big of a negative? Because it is part of the experience. A lot of people do go to Disneyland and they want to buy merch. They want to take these things home, as like memory keepsakes and stuff.
Yeah, I would say for sure. That was on my list as one of the biggest negatives right now is merch. Merch is not cutting it. It's not doing it how it used to. We're missing a lot of Disneyland specific stuff like attraction merchandise. We don't have any of that. We have just like a lot of like shared all over the parks. Like
you know what it is Disney fell in love with Spirit Jersey, and then they fell in love with Loungefly, and it seemed like those are the main two that they were just sticking to for a while. I feel like they're kind of getting out of that rut of like, because they're doing like different sweaters now that are actually they're not bad. Like they're really nice. Where like it says Disneyland and it's just kind of plain.
Yeah.
We will never get Tokyo merch. We opened San Francisco and we got nothing. Nothing to the level of theming of Tokyo. And Disney, they could have easily just copycatted Tokyo merch.
I have a feeling, Mondo, that we are. It's just the same situation. They probably just put the order in for that stuff way too late, and it wasn't ready for them to have it. So
maybe like April then? April, May?
No, I think one day next year, I don't even think it's going to be this year, they're just going to be, bam, all this stuff in that shop that's San Francisco Square out of nowhere. Just they had to get the shop open, and they had to stuff it with something, so they put anything they could that had to do with Baymax. And they're lucky that Baymax is a popular character, so they had stuff to actually put in there. Because I feel like otherwise it would have just been Marvel stuff.
It would have been Spider Bots.
Yeah.
Did you or what were your thoughts on the Era Tour movie?
It was good. It was really good. I wanted to see it because I went the night they filmed, so it was like reliving the show I went to. So 10 out of 10 for my Alyssa, go see it. Yeah,
I'm gonna go see it when it finally hits AMC Stubs, because for some reason
Taylor Swift hit Stubs.
You just have to wait a week. That's what I was told.
Turn the fan on real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm hot too, dude. It's freaking hot tonight.
I know it's like really hot.
All right. Let me keep going through this list. This is a big one. I asked my members here on Five Fires YouTube, and they told me this, that rides are breaking down too much. For a while, I thought, I always kind of wanted to say it was like maybe we're nitpicking, we're being too critical. But this ride breaking down conversation has really stuck for months. It's like it's not even like a sporadic one in a blue moon. It's rides are breaking down always, every day, all day at Disneyland. Mickey and Minnie's goes down, Rise goes down, a Thunder Mountain goes down, a Haunted goes down, Matterhorn's been going down, DCA, sometimes Mission Breakout goes down, Web Slingers for some reason goes down, Radiator Spring goes down all the time. trying to think of like other ride that really breaks down all the time. I don't know. Those are kind of the big ones that break down. What do you think, Danny? On the rides
I think
break down too much.
there's certainly some attractions that do, right, like Indiana Jones, and its
Oh yeah,
sister.
Indiana Jones. How can I not think of that?
Indiana Jones and its sister over in Walt Disney World, Dinosaur, are definitely plagued with that issue. So I definitely can see that happening at both of those locations. Pirates of the Caribbean, I refuse to ride it. I haven't even ridden Pirates of the Caribbean since the parks reopened in the pandemic. I won't go on it just because if it breaks down, you're stuck on that ride for almost 2 hours, and I just can't. I can't deal with that claustrophobia. So I just don't do it. I don't do Pirates of the Caribbean because it does regularly have some downtime, right? And I just can't handle like the being down and being stuck on it for 2 hours, all your plans getting ruined and everything. So I avoid that one. A lot of the other attractions, just knowing how, working in attractions in the past and stuff, and just knowing how things work. Most of the other attractions break down because of the guests' fault, right? So when the Matterhorn breaks
Space
down,
Mountain.
it's for two reasons. Either someone's being stupid on the ride that they had to stop it, which is easier to do since it's a seatbelt, right? The other option is people are taking too long to get in and out of the ride, whether they're trying to take a photo with their phone, they're all trying to selfie on the ride as soon as you sit down. I see that all the time. They're taking too long. And if the ride takes too long, then if it backs up in any way, shape, or form, then a ride breaks down. So that happens at Space Mountain and it happens at Matterhorn. And I think it's just people aren't paying attention. They're not aware of their surroundings and they're taking too long. So I think Space Mountain and Matterhorn get a pass because those are the 99% of the time it's the guest's fault as to why it's not working.
Yeah.
And when they have to stop the ride or when the ride auto stops from the guest taking too long, you're looking at 2 hours minimum to like power the ride down, have maintenance come out to like restart everything, have the ride cycle through every single car, and then have the cast members test it. It's just like a process. Same with I know someone that works over at Grizzly River Run. That ride has a ton of breakdowns, but they mentioned that ride never really breaks down. It breaks down all the time because people stand up in the raft, people get off the raft, people move from seat to seat in the ride, like because they're trying not to get wet. And then as soon as any of that's seen on the camera, stop the ride. So, and I think we're just getting more of those that cause the rides to go down. And we didn't have a lot of that in the past, but we do now. So I think all that's contributing and people think it's breaking down. As far as Radiator Springs Racers, I have no idea. I don't know why that
is there more too that Disneyland has been put in a position of no downtime. And what I mean by that, like January, February, March, just announced $50 tickets January, February, March. Disney just wants to be running at a 10 out of 10 capacity. Like they want the crowds to be here January through December. It doesn't matter. We don't care they no shows. We still want the crowds. There's construction everywhere. Refurbs. Doesn't matter. Do you think it's just the capacity is finally getting to these old ass rides? Because these are old ass rides, dude. Like we're talking 20, 30, 40-year rides. They're still running. It's crazy. Is it just finally like things are just getting harder and harder for maintenance people and the maintenance teams?
It could, right? We saw that with It's a Small World, right? When they had the unfortunate incident on the attraction, was it last season or a couple seasons ago, where they had the flood, right? And then all the controls were ruined. They had to essentially like call all the other parks and have them kind of like piecemeal replacements because the ride's so old they can't just get new parts for the ride, right? So I think we're kind of there's some aspect to that where like, we're getting to the point where if a ride breaks, maybe there's not a lot available to just kind of replace it right away.
Mm-hmm. We got a super chat from Johnny. There's something I want to put to bed because I get people asking me a lot. Is Disney going to make guests wear uniforms in the park? Answer is no. Somebody actually messaged me that too, and I was like, "Where'd you see this?" And it was was it called Mousetrap? And I was just like, I don't know how Mousetrap keeps coming off as like real or believable, but hey, they're doing their job, which is literally to troll people.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to talk about it more, but no, you do not. You don't have to wear anything to go to Walt Disney World. It's stupid to even hear that. All right, I have only a couple more that I want to go into, or actually, no, I'm not even going to go into the last ones. I want to ask the chat. Post right now. What is a negative that you want to bring up of the current Disneyland, the current state, this freaking October 2023? And it could be procedures, price, whatever. What do you want to talk about? We'll do the Q&A for Disneyland. I had a couple more, but I want to hear from the people. Let me see. So post right now. I'll get to as many as we can. And then I want to go into Knott's next, and we're going to end it with Universal Studios Hollywood. I realized, Danny, I was like, damn, we've been talking an hour and 16 minutes. What the freak?
I know. We've been spending that's why I was like, why is Mondo putting it to the chat right now? This is going to take another 2 hours.
It's all right. Is there that much negative at Disney? Oh, my. There's a conversation that much. Let's see. We got to hear from the people. We got to hear from the people in the chat. Let's see. Let's see. Money grabbing Genie Plus. Do you still feel Genie Plus is a money grabber, or it's actually a good product?
I struggle with this one because I feel like the idea of Genie Plus is a great value for people that want to plan, but I don't agree with them not making the product a premium product. For instance, they're touting it as a way to save time in line, and in some attractions like Indiana Jones, you don't save time really. So it's kind of deceiving in that way because there's not really all that much line you're skipping, and they're turning a free product and queues and everything that were built for a free product because it wasn't supposed to be in front of the line, and then they're charging for that, and they didn't change the queues that were built, right? There's some attractions like Mickey
and that's why you see Haunted Mansion Fast Pass all the way to Splash Mountain Bridge.
Yeah, and even then, like Haunted Mansion doesn't pass all that much either. So it's like, but like some attractions that were built later, right? Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, excellent value for Genie Plus, like right there.
Yeah. Even Rise of the Resistance, it goes straight into pre-show.
Yeah, same with Millennium Falcon. You go right into the pre-show.
Yeah.
So like those make sense. But it's like the older attractions, like that they just kind of shoehorned it in. We'll have to see where Little Mermaid ends up putting you when you use Genie Plus there.
I don't even know where that's going to go. It's so weird. It's weird to hear Lightning Lane at Little Mermaid. Reservations. Are we still negative about them, or are we just complacent and it is what it is? How do you feel, Danny?
I'm fine with it as long as we can cancel day of up until a time point.
Why can't we do that? Well, Disney World's been doing that. Mm-hmm. They've been. I would say I'm fine with reservations, but Walt Disney World's getting rid of them January 7th, I think. 2024. So, damn, dude, I really wanted to cuss right now, and I'm holding it back. You know what? Fuck reservations! I said it. I had to say it. Over it. It's just the fact that Walt Disney World's getting rid of them and we're not. It's brutal. And then they got rid of park hopping too. Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Real quick, we got a Venmo super chat. Mondo, you got one too. I have one from Jessica Fernandez that says, Thank you for the live tonight. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. Oh, my Lanta, let me go. Dropping the 5, dropping 10. What? Oh, Lanta. Thank you, Jessica. Bar. Always appreciate your time, Jessica. Heck yeah. There is no hype for celebration. It's sad that Disney didn't really want to do anything for its 100. It's the Disneyland way. It's as weird as that sounds. Jamie Lynn says, can we talk about how Disney either is rushing on these land rethemes or just not following through Tomorrowland, or how we are keeping getting the runaround with Avenger Campus e-ticket ride? I think there's no budget. They have no money. They have money, obviously, but just no money to finish out and flush out these ideas and imagineering concepts that were going to be cool. I don't know. I guess it just revolves around time. And at the end of the day, like, they're in this battle of, like, we need to get this out there. The most recent, we need to open Toontown in whatever shape and form because Super Nintendo World's opening. We can't just let them open Super Nintendo World without us responding with something. And we get this weird Toontown that's all behind walls now in freaking October. It's just budget. They don't want a budget. They do not want a budget. But thank you once again, Jessica. 5 fires. Let's see. I'm just reading. Let's see. Anthony says, I miss when Disney did summer theme like Pixar. That's all we talked about in the beginning, dude. That was my biggest negative. I'm just trying to read. Everyone's saying, okay, are prices too high? I know that's a big one everybody wants to talk about. How do you feel about it, Danny?
I think tickets are getting to the point where it might be a little too high. On some days, anyway. There's definitely some good value days like 104. But I feel like the tier 6, tier 5 days they're approaching like kind of where I feel like it's a little too high. I feel like also prices are a little too high on food in a lot of cases. And my biggest complaint as far as prices are this whole prefix thing. I hate the prefix thing, and I hate that since the pandemic, they've changed like every restaurant to be prefix, and you have to do it. Like as far as the nicer restaurants, like I hate that Blue Bayou is like that, and they do so many Disney World restaurants are like that now.
Yeah,
you can't like order off the menu, and it's like, and they want to just have, I guess, guaranteed like cost per guest sitting down. That's probably why they want to do it. But, someone could come and sit, order like a side or an appetizer and take up a reservation time, and they don't want that. I guess that's probably the reason. Yeah. But I hate the prefix. I really do. And it's like we didn't have that before the pandemic, and then they did it after the pandemic because they needed to like simplify the menus, and then they just kept it. And it's like it's one of those things from the pandemic that like they had to do, and then they just kept it. And it's like because they realized that they could make more money doing it or whatnot. I don't know.
We got Diane, the Canning Nana. Thank you, Diane, for 10 months of membership. DOS needs to not be mixed in with Lightning Lane. Waiting 30 minutes defeats the purpose for me not being able to stand too long. I don't understand how that happened. The whole DOS and Lightning Lane merging like that. I feel, I don't know too many people that are in DOS, but the people that I do talk to that are in DOS, like I feel like it's been at the worst it's ever been. Especially too the most recent, like one I could top of my head is Haunted Mansion right now. DOS Lightning Lane, it's 30 minutes. It could be 30 minutes, easy. I don't know. I don't go through the experiences of DOS, so like I can't really like pinpoint something that I would I would try to fix or like what is the big negative of it. But I've heard that complaint a lot, that the DOS and Lightning Lane merging is it's brutal. It's brutal. Um, man, I hope somehow it gets better. I know a lot of complaints came down at Universal because they changed their whole. I don't know what they call it, but I'm just going to call it DOS, where you have to provide a lot of information, and it has to be done like 2 days or something before your trip, or I think even a week before your trip. It's something where you just can't get a DOS pass, and I don't know how else to say it, but I've never seen so many people in a wheelchair having to wait the lines at Halloween Horror Nights. That's one thing I've noticed a lot more. And I know one person, it was actually at Chucky. One person was like more closer to the front, and he saw a wheelchair, like somebody on a wheelchair, like 3 or 4 rows to the side. And he was like, hey, get that person and his family, get them through. They could come with me. I don't want that person in the wheelchair to wait. And everybody helped and let the family with the wheelchair get through. I know it's technically line cutting, but the guy was just like, there's just no way we're going to make this person in the wheelchair wait this general admission queue. And I don't know. I feel like that's been a bigger thing lately at Universal. But we're talking Disneyland right now. We're talking Disneyland. Let me see. I'm just catching up in the chat. Regular Josh 1 dropping a super chat. Surprised no one brought this one up. Virtual queues to buy tickets or passes are terrible at Disney. These things are so complicated for no reason. I hate virtual queue. I don't even know why things have got to the point of virtual queue. I don't even know what to say. I hate it. I hate virtual queues. What do you think, Daddy? Is it a necessity evil for the way demand has got?
It was right during the pandemic, right? But they don't. I don't think and they say they need it for like new attractions, but I don't really know. I felt like it caused more issues with Mickey
and Minnie's never needed boarding groups. Never.
Yeah, they just need to do those like 2 days of like 5-6 hour queues and just let it happen, right?
Just, let it happen. I'm
then,
not waiting in a 5-hour line, but it does feel nice to be like, hey, if I really want that ride, I could do it. Instead of like, you know what, Danny, you can't get on this ride because you weren't fast enough at tapping your phone.
Yeah. So that's I think that's true. But is that all the Disneyland questions we're taking now? We're going to Knott's?
Hold on, Daddy. Amanda Lowell dropping a super chat. Hi, Mondo. The Lowells have missed Disney and Five Fires. We will be back 10/28 to 11/1. Hope to see ya. I should be back around that time. That is the time I'll be back. And coverage for Christmas. Five Fires YouTube, we're going to be all over that. Vlogs, live streams, even shorts. But we'll be back, Amanda. You're coming at a great time. Hopefully the crowds are a little bit down since it's like that in-between time. But thank you, Amanda. Five Fires to you and your family. Let me see. I'm just going through. Dining reservations are hard to get. Yep. But walk-ins are the best it's ever been. I'm just reading through right now. Let's see. The Haunted Mansion line is heartbreaking for families that can't afford all the frills. It's so unfair. All right. I think we'll end it there. We got Wendy Vines with the super chat. Disney's Wi-Fi. Yup, I had a Verizon phone for the longest. Unless you have AT&T, your phone sucks. Your phone just sucks. And they want you to be on your phone getting lightning lanes all damn day, but the internet sucks. If you don't have AT&T, it's a hard time out there at Disney. I cannot deny that. All right, I think that's it. I think I feel like we could keep going with the negatives at Disney, but I feel like that was a good talk. It was a really good talk. All right, we're moving on, Danny. Knott's Berry Farm. Let's get negative with Knott's Berry Farm. I'll let you go first because I have one that I already know everybody's gonna say, and you probably gonna say it too, Danny. But you go first. You go first with Knott's Berry Farm.
My biggest complaint with Knott's right now is the parking situation, and it has nothing to do with the preferred parking. I get that if they want to charge more money for that, right? That's fine. They were the only theme park that wasn't doing it, so that makes sense. But it's so unclear at any time of the day which parking lots are available, and it doesn't make sense at all that you can come in through the main entrance of Knott's off of Beach, and the access point to the parking lot where Soak City is located is closed, but that parking lot's not closed. You just have to now exit the entrance that you went in thinking that you could go out to the street, turn left, and then turn another left to enter that same parking lot that you could have entered through the passageway. But
and Danny's talking about the one right there by Peanuts headquarters.
Yeah, it's just like, I think the complaint is that Knott's has like 3 or 4 parking lots, and it's never the same. It's never the same. Like, you can't expect like this parking lot to be open at this time. Like it's always a mystery. It's a lottery. Like,
I have to say, Danny, I feel when you go right there at the front entrance of Knott's on that street, and you can't turn left to go under the bridge, I feel like it almost ruins your day. You're like, God damn it! You get parked all the way by the hotels, super far. Or the worst, they send you to the grass field.
Yeah, they send you to the grass field, and it's just like, there's no clear like Knott's has labels for all their parking. So there's like, I don't know what they call the one by Soak City, but they have like the south parking and then the hotel parking. Like, have something on their website that says like, this parking lot's open from this time and this time. So like I went to the south lot, which is the one I like to park in. It's behind Knott's. Like, you can still walk, underneath Ghost Rider to get to the park, and like I feel like they never use that lot anymore, and every time I go there it's always closed. And I asked the cast members or the associates or whatever at the hotel, and I said, why is this lot never open? And they're like, oh, it only opens after 6 p.m. And I'm like, how is anyone supposed to know that? Like,
you're not you don't know.
It's just it's a huge issue. Like, and if you're taking Google Maps, you're taking Apple Maps, you're taking whatever the heck maps you're taking, it's going to take you into the Knott's like main entrance.
The front end.
And for the most part, the only parking that you can access usually from that space is preferred. And if you don't want preferred, then you have to go back out onto the street and hopefully find a parking lot that's open. You could turn right. Oh, south lot's closed. So now I have to circle all the way around Knott's to hopefully find one of the other 2 lots that's open. I don't know. Maybe it won't be open. Like, this happens every time I go to Knott's, no matter what. Like, I can't ever determine which parking lot's open. And it's the most frustrating thing I've ever experienced.
I'm telling you, I used to do that. I used to go through the front entrance of Knott's, and when you don't turn left, it's like it affects your day. I feel for me it did. So I always come from the other side of Beach Boulevard, so I always get into the parking lot that's like, I guess I think it's called East Lot. I don't even know what these parking lots are called. It's where like there's Snoopy and all the Peanut characters. I guess Soak City parking lot. That's what I'll call it, that way. You're able to come in from Beach Boulevard no matter what. For the most, I've never had it where it's closed on me, but I hate it when you go to hotel parking that way, and then like I said, the worst is when they're like, "Hey, you actually got to go to the grass field because it's just that busy today." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's just brutal. It's just brutal." But it is a crapshoot, Danny. I know what you mean. I have. And I feel like this is probably one of the biggest complaints or biggest negatives is that there's no mobile order. Even Universal's doing mobile order now. I feel that's one of the biggest benefits of Disneyland, and I'll get into that next week when we talk about the positives. But not having mobile order, I feel like sometimes the lines at Knott's, you go on a Friday, Saturday, and I guess even Sunday, you could be waiting 30 minutes to an hour for food at a lot of like the popular spots. And most of the time, you want to eat at the popular spots because those are the good spots. And I'll go into the other negative in a little bit, is food quality. But let's go into the no mobile order, Danny. What are your thoughts, man? To me, I think it's a big negative, dude. We can't hear you, Danny.
I would say they could certainly use it on some things, like the way Disney uses it on the bars. Like if they could do it there, like that could be a big thing. Somehow, I just feel like this wouldn't be executed well at Knott's. So
you don't think they could pull it off? I'm going to say they can. I feel like they can. But do they have the infrastructure to like all of a sudden raise capacity of orders? I don't know. Maybe they can't, right? Maybe they can.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd want this at Knott's.
Oh man! Our Knott's Adventure says Knott's totally dropped the ball with mobile order. They teased us with it, and now it's just for the chicken to go. Such a waste. Chicken to go has mobile order?
It does, yeah.
What? On the app? Like it's on the app?
I think it's on the website.
Oh, on the website. Okay, I was like, wow. What do you think when if I say a big negative at Knott's is food quality? Do you feel like food quality is an issue or no?
I don't think so. I mean, first, like I think you kind of know what's good and what's not. Like I'm not going to Knott's Berry Farm for like a pretzel. You know what I mean? Like,
I would think you are though. It's a theme park.
Like, I'm not going there for a pretzel. Like, I'm gonna go there for like stuff that they are known for. So like, Fireman's Brigade barbecue stuff, and homemade funnel cakes, and the churros that are filled, like things that Knott's does that's like different than everyone. That's what I would go there for. I wouldn't say the quality's like, I don't think the quality's any different than what's I've always been pretty satisfied with Knott's food. It's just the weirdo like one-offs that happen for like the holiday seasons that sometimes you're just like, whoa, like I'm not.
Well, the prime examples right now at Halloween, what were they doing? Like camel, rabbit, turtle?
Gator? Yeah. The weird, those things kind of weird, but like I'm talking like those like lemon like beignets that you guys try to get, like that's something that just was super weird. Or I'm trying to think one other thing too that we had recently that was like a crazy like one-off situation. Oh, like I bought you that noodle, like cold noodle salad that tasted like chicken salad, like pasta or whatever. Remember it was like you and your sister tried it, and it was right over there in front of the saloon.
Oh my gosh, I have to say it. Boardwalk Barbecue has fallen down from the rankings. Boardwalk Barbecue.
That's where it was. It was like with the beef and everything.
I haven't ate at Boardwalk Barbecue since the pandemic probably. I don't even touch Boardwalk Barbecue. I just that pasta beef disgustingness we had. Oh gosh, I remember that, Danny. I don't even want to show it. I was thinking of showing it, but yeah. I think with Knott's, it probably revolves around inconsistency more than food quality, right? I think that's what it is the inconsistency.
Mm-hmm. I think our Knott's Adventure mentioned that. It's there. I can see that. There's definitely not consistency always. That's that's for sure a big one. That's
Big
definitely
Avocado says, Big Knott's pet peeve is the pickup area is in the front area is always a hot mess. When my hubby picks me up, sometimes I have to walk to the light to get in the car. It kills my knees. Oh, the pickup and drop off area, always chaos. That is very true, especially during Scary Farm right now. Horrible. Uh, yeah, I know what you mean. All right, our Knott's Adventure asked her what was her biggest negative. Biggest negatives are mobile order, parking, and food. So I feel like we've hit all of those. We've hit all of those.
Yeah.
We've hit all of those. Okay.
I think for me, like my biggest concern is just the parking. Like overall, the Knott's has done really good things with like security, and like what they're offering for like entertainment and stuff like that. But the parking has just been insane. Like I don't understand any of the logic behind the choices they are making with parking. Um,
They're just like like shaking an 8 ball. The 8 ball. Which parking lot's open today? East lot. Okay, open up the east lot.
yeah, like if they're just gonna send everyone through that main thoroughfare where like Knott's Marketplace is, just put a big old cone up in front of it and don't even let people come in there.
Yeah.
Or just put up a sign saying drop off only, no parking. Like Disney has that for like those big light up signs.
Yeah.
Put up a light sign saying theme park drop off only and like no parking left. You know what I mean? Like have one of those signs, because having people go in there and then wait at the signal light inside there, and then if there's any traffic in there from other things, and then only to find out you can't park anywhere in there and you have to go out and back onto the street and circle around the park is just bizarre that it always
You're
happens.
like, I'm going home. I'm done.
Yeah.
We got Johnny with the super chat. Does not still use the back entrance. I actually saw it during Scary Farm. It was that busy, but only when it's just jam packed. It's horrible capacity. Like it's just you can't walk. That's when they open that back entrance, but it's rarely used. But they still do. It's just if that back entrance is open, it's a rough day out there. Regular Josh 1 dropping a super chat. Ride operations are negative for me. Sometimes they're too slow or they don't run enough ride vehicles for some reason. Hashtag Pony Express. That's one of the. I haven't been on Pony Express. I couldn't even tell you. That line is brutal. You could wait hour to 2 hours at Pony Express. Yeah, the capacity. Do you think capacity of rides overall is just not good at Knott's Berry Farm?
They don't really have a lot of high capacity rides, with the exception of maybe like the train. It's just not a thing that Knott's has a lot of. So a lot of their rides have like low capacity, low ride per hour. So we see like the Pony Express has like the lowest ride capacity ever in the world. So I think that just accentuates the problems that people have to wait a long time for the ride vehicle to come back, then to load it safely and correctly. And there's not like a lot of rides that are just constantly moving. Even like an attraction that could be really good capacity, like Berry Tales, still not very good.
Terrible ride capacity. Berry Tales. It was a short wait for me one time, it was like a short line. It's 45 minutes. I was like, how the hell did this take 45 minutes? Knott's doesn't really have high capacity rides. They don't have rides that like never stop. Disneyland really has the best when it comes down to ride capacity. What are you gonna say, Danny?
No, I was saying they used to. The Kingdom of the Dinosaurs was kind of like that before Berry Tales.
Gone. It's gone. I have a couple more from Knott's, and we'll move on to Universal. The app is bad. Does Knott's? They just don't care. The app's irrelevant. I don't think do enough people care to make the app good, or it's just who cares? Get off your phone. What do you think?
In all honesty, I don't know a single theme park that has a good app. So I don't necessarily know that Knott's is like taking the crown here for the worst one.
I feel Disneyland's really good. Disneyland's really good.
Yeah, I don't know what your app.
I have AT&T though. Wait times load for me.
I will say when I'm looking for a show or something on the Knott's app, I can find it. And with Disneyland, that's not always the case. So I don't know. I think what Disneyland does better, maybe if you looked at it, is that like your profile like logging in is like so much more robust than like keeping your like payment methods and all that kind of stuff. That's nice. With Knott's, it's like same with Universal too. Like when you log into the app, it's like, what am I doing? What is the benefit of logging in?
I know the Universal one. I always think that too. Like, why am I always logging in? I don't get it. Yeah. I just want to know the wait time. One thing about Knott's, no wait times, right? I have no idea how to look up wait times. Is there wait times? I have no idea. But yeah,
supposed to, but
yeah. For Knott's, I really don't have too many. I'm always, for what you pay for, it's incredible bang for your buck. Especially when you have a season pass. I'm trying to really. I guess I'm just gonna throw it out there. I feel like when the food festivals happen at Knott's, they're not as good anymore compared to pre-pandemic. Boysenberry this year was rough, dude. I really didn't enjoy it from a food perspective. Summer nights, some of the worst food too. we got lucky. We found that pita vegetable thing, and now that we've gone into Scary Farm, the food bad again. So I think are the seasonal foods? Are we just having a rough time, or are we gonna knock it out to inconsistency again, or it's just bad? What do you think, Daddy? What do you think?
Yeah, well, we had a chance to talk to Wilf, like I think during the Boysenberry Festival, and we were telling him like we were happy to see the Boysenberry meatballs had come back in some form. They were there last Boysenberry Festival, I think, on the pizza. They had the Boysenberry meatball pizza, but they didn't have them separately. And like when you have a favorite like that people love and expect to see every time, like bring it back every time. Like every single Mary Farm, there should be potato balls with turkey and stuffing. Like without a doubt, it should just always be there no matter what. If you want to get creative with other items, you can. But he was telling us that like, oh, this is probably the last event that we're going to have the Boysenberry meatballs for a while because they don't want me to use it anymore. And I'm just like, who's making these decisions? That's like, oh, don't. Let me just not bring back the thing that everyone likes the most. Like, who's behind these decisions?
You know what I want to say? Knott is getting too tricky. They're getting a little too tricky.
Yeah, it's just like if you have an item that everyone loves, like keep bringing it back. You can add other things, like change out some of the other ones that maybe didn't do as good. But if everyone likes the Boysenberry meatballs and that's like a staple of the Boysenberry Festival, bring it back.
The one that hurt me was when I had the Boysenberry chicken wings were absolute bad. Like they were just, I was like, this has been a staple of Boysenberry Festival for me personally for many years. It's like I use 2-3 tabs on these things all the time. But yeah, no. But Boysenberry Festival, I feel Peanut Celebration. I don't even count that. But Boysenberry Festival in the summer nights and now in a Scary Farm, I couldn't even tell you the top 3 food items from any of those events. Where I was just like, wow.
But
I'm really glad I did that. And then too. I was gonna say, Danny, even then too. these lanyards for these food events became too damn expensive. Let's bring that negative up. And I think, and you guys know me, I keep it real always. I'm media, no media, whatever. I'm always honest. And every time if I bring up like a negative, I try to bring a solution or like a substitute in my videos, like vlogs. And I did a video. It was the one with Danny where we did summer nights. And I was like, dude, I think it was like $50-$60. Totally not worth it. When I could do one, or is it every 2-hour dining package? And I could eat every 2 hours at a Panda, Ghost Town Barbecue, Fireman's Brigade, I guess Boardwalk Pizza, Sutter's, where I could eat every 2 hours. I could go eat somewhere for like $42. When a lanyard for these shitty foods at this summer nights was like 60. Wasn't it like $60 this year or something? It was some crazy number.
Yeah. I was just gonna say I kind of forgot what I was gonna say now. But
Yeah, it just
I think they kind of lost their way on some of the staples. Like, bring back the staples, the stuff that people likes. We don't have to have an entirely new menu every single time. We'll have some new items for sure, but we can have some of the staples people like. I feel like the first summer night that we had in 2019, it was great because it was all. What do you think of when you think summertime? You think of barbecue and backyard barbecue, stuff like that, and that's what they had. They had like barbecue skewers with shrimp and steak and chicken, and they had big long like bratwursts and hamburgers. Like, that's what people want for summer nights. Like, I don't really want even though it was good, like I'm not really looking to go to Knott's to get a pita bread with hummus and grilled vegetables
for summer nights.
Yeah,
even though we loved it, but that's I don't think of that when I think of summer.
That's not my summer nights food. Like, I think they just need to go back to like the staples, but people like Knott's for like the hefty, hearty food, and so go back to that. But Mondo, now I know I was gonna say, Mondo, you say you can't remember the last 3 items that you liked from summer nights, but you know what, you can name 3 items that you remember from Taste of Halloween.
Yeah, dude, Taste of Halloween. My God,
they debuted Mondo's favorite item. I've never heard him shut up about ever since the beginning, which was was
it a strudel? What was it called? Trifle. Trifle. Oh, dude, I ate like 10 of those.
About the trifle.
And you know what, Danny? It never came back. I don't think it came back, or it came back and it was nasty. Oh man, I had a chance to ask also too, like Sonic and my girlfriend Coco. I was like, what are the negatives you have of Knott's? And one of them was from them was themed rides. Do you think we need more themed rides at Knott's, or you get what you get when you go to Knott's? You know what you're getting into when you go to the farm.
Like themed rides, how? Like,
I guess you could say like Disney or Universal with like Secret Life of Pets, stuff like that. Or it's just Knott's just ain't that. What do you think?
Well, but they have a lot of that. They have the Calico Mine Ride. They have the Timber Mountain Log Ride, Berry Tales, the Calico River Rapids. Like, there's a lot of themed attractions there. There's a lot of just like roller coasters too. But I think this is a pretty good mix at Knott's. They have a good mix of all of them. I don't really think they have a lot of room for show buildings, right? Big show buildings. So I feel like they do the best with what they can. Although they do have some space and stuff they don't use, like the Mystery Lodge. I'd love to see them do something with that space. And then, over the Jaguar has a pretty good theme for the space that it's in. So I think they did a good job with what they have.
All right. I always say Knott's just needs one ride to come. Hopefully in the future it gets budgeted. Since we lost Accelerator, we lost Montezuma's Revenge. put the budget into a dark ride that's Snoopy, a Snoopy dark ride. It would be beautiful, and theme it to Knott's, like uh, Snoopy and Ghost Town, like a Snoopy Ghost Town Adventure dark ride, and use the same. Obviously, I'm talking crazy, but use this. I want like a Pirates of the Caribbean Snoopy dark ride. Is that too crazy, Danny?
You're crazy.
He said I'm crazy.
No, I would love.
Why am I
I would
crazy?
love I would love a good boat ride, like a slow boat ride at Knott's.
It would be
That'd be
awesome. A Pirates of the Caribbean boat ride, but Snoopy dark ride. That's just too crazy?
Yeah, we got a super chat from IG2ME, sends Mondo $100, says
$100.
for the little star of the show.
Yeah, he kept. So Maxarini is like crawling like crazy, Danny. And if I go somewhere, he like crawls because he hears my voice, so he like crawls. So I had to pick him up.
Is he like a zoomer? Like he zooms now?
Dude,
like
he crawls fast, but oh my god, he's always trying to mankind me, dude. Freaking just hand in the mouth.
He's got the age where everything is grab everything.
Dude, he's trying to grab everything. He's grabbing everything. All right, Max Rooney, let me put him back. But he was just going like he was doing the like looking at me. Coco, the little star of the show. All right. My bad. I had to pick him up because he was doing the. I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm on my way. All right. IG to me, dropping 100. Freaking crazy. Wasn't expecting that. Oh my lord.
And then we got
that
Bob.
That
Booker.
100 is gonna go straight to cute outfits. That's like what we've been thinking of right now is cute outfits for the cruise because we're going on.
He's gonna start outgrowing all of his stuff. You know what I mean?
I've already felt he's 9 months and he's wearing. How many months is he wearing right now?
Like 18 months.
He's wearing 18-month clothes. So like I'm like, dude, we're not ready. We were trying to buy him like 12-month clothes, and dude, kids grow too fast. It's just crazy. Freaking kids grow too fast.
We got another
thank you for your kindness.
From Bob Booker BT.
Bob Booker BT. Baby Max bringing some positive to the screen. Hey, next week, I'm telling you, next week part 2 is let's be positive or let's get positive. Today we're just getting negative. All right. I think we've done enough Knott's Berry Farm negative. I don't think we really need to go in any more. Overall, they're doing a great job. Scary Farm is one of the best ones I've ever been to, honestly.
Hands down.
It's probably my favorite Scary Farm I've ever been to. Like, I really couldn't think back to a one of like, nah, this Scary Farm was better. I think this is the best one ever.
I would have to say the year that the Depths and Dark Entities first opened, I just really loved that year. I don't know.
That was a memorable one?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think this is my favorite year of Scary Farm I've ever been to. Just because it's a full package, the shows, the scare zones, all the houses, and the merch, just the whole circle of Scary Farm is incredible. No complaints with Scary Farm from me. All right, that is it. Let's move on to the last one. Universal Studios Hollywood. Let's get negative.
I'll be right back, Mondo.
It's all right. I'll wait for you. Scary Farm has been fantastic as a scaredy cat. I'm loving it this year. Or not to mention, I'm glad that you're loving Scary Farm so much because I was the same way where I was a scaredy cat, and I just really accepted Halloween for what it is, and it's like it's. I don't want to say it's my favorite season of the year, but like, because Christmas is my favorite. Christmas is just overall. I love the themings at the parks at Christmas, but Halloween is just I think like the funnest. But my favorite is Christmas. Um, let's see. Scary Farm is what Knott's does best. Bravo. Yeah, no, I think this is my favorite year. I don't want to say it's like the best of all time, but man, I couldn't name another year that's as good as this one. All right. Start posting right now. I'm gonna put like a little bookmark on myself of where everybody starts talking Universal, and we'll get negative. I have like 10 things that I wrote down of let's get negative. And also too, what is your guys' thoughts on this themed Speculation Sunday? Because this is very different from like Speculation Sunday that we normally do. Do you guys like this themed Speculation Sunday concept? All right, Danny, let's get into it. Is Universal negative other than AAAP pass for ADA? I don't even know what that means. Let's see. What's going on with Earthquake on the studio tour? Dude, I actually got on Earthquake before it went down. The big like diesel truck storage thing didn't fall down. And if I'm not mistaken, like pieces that are also supposed to come down didn't come down. And there was no fire effects working or nothing on like those remaining days leading into the closure of Earthquake. It was in horrible shape those days. It must have been in such bad shape where they were just like shut it down, because this Earthquake refurb, this is like, I feel like 6-7 months. This is a long time it's been down, and I don't think it's coming back until a while, like April or something. But I don't know if Universal has put like a date when it comes back. I love this theme of negatives. All right, let's get into it. All right, Danny, I'll go into mine first.
Okay.
The park needs to expand. We've got to the point where this theme park is too popular. I feel the dream of Universal has outgrown its limitations. It needs to get bigger. That's my biggest negative. I couldn't even think of a bigger negative than that one, and it's almost like a positive. But what do you think about that concept? That it needs to get bigger. It's not big enough.
Definitely. It definitely needs to be bigger. And especially when you look at things like Universal Orlando, the problem is it's just such a different place, right? There's no room for them to go anywhere unless they're going to give up some studio. And I feel like we're in a weird place because we have, this whole section of Universal Studios here that's a working studio that really makes our Universal so much better and so much more unique because it is a working studio, so it feels like different, but at the same time, we want that like really great themed experience that Universal seems to be winning at right now, as far as like Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Super Nintendo World, and all the amazing stuff that's coming to the Epic Universe theme park over in Florida. We want that here, right? And so like it definitely needs to expand somehow. And even like the Secret Life of Pets, that ride was so amazing, even though it has terrible ride vehicles. It's just like an amazing ride with such great theming, especially the queue and everything. So it's they definitely need to expand. I just don't know how they do it. And like how much can we give up without it like losing some of its charm?
I know it sounds ridiculous, but I think the loss. So if Universal wants to expand, there's like, and we're just fans talking. We're not like in the know or deep in the company. I don't know none of that stuff. This is from a fan perspective. if Universal wants to expand, I think the losses that they have to take is studio tour. They have to lose studio tour to expand the theme park. The other losses, which are the ones that like is probably the biggest barrier, is they have to lose sound stages, and then they expand the park, and that's their bread and butter, right? It's an actual filming park. They film movies, they film shows. That's probably one of their biggest money makers is renting those things out, those sound stages out to companies all day, every day, making ridiculous money. And I know we're in the writer strike, but the writer and actor strike, once all that's resolved, dude, there's gonna be, I would only think a boom in entertainment filming because everything's
Right.
been on pause for so long. So I think the loss has to come in the studio tour. Would the fans or the community be so upset to lose studio tour to have more theme park, or is the studio tour just too critical to Universal? What do you think?
Yeah, I can see both sides, but I think if we think about what the studio tour was, I wouldn't want to lose that. But if I think about where the studio tour has gone
Where
and
it
where
is
it's
now, yeah, where it is now.
and where it's going now, there's a big part of me that's like, I don't care if that goes away, because what we have right now is like Kong 3D, Fast and Furious 3D. We have
Jupiter
sometimes you go,
Claim. We have War of the
yeah,
Worlds.
Jupiter's Claim, War of the World. Sometimes you go through like the Desperate Housewives section. I don't even know if they go through that anymore.
I feel like it's been aged. It aged bad. I think that's the right phrase to say. Because like, who's watching Desperate Housewives or War of the Worlds or what's the most recent one? The Jupiter Claim one. I feel like a lot of those things. It's just kind of like it's even Kong. Honestly, who's watching Kong these days? But I just feel like it hasn't aged well. I think that's the best way to say it.
Yeah, I think
Or
so
is it
too.
just nostalgia? Does it fall under nostalgia? That's always the battle with theme parks. Is do
Yeah,
things?
it doesn't have
If
to be
Disneyland fell in
the tour.
nostalgia, everything's old, but it's in nostalgia.
Yeah, the tour doesn't have to be as long, right? If they can cut off things like Fast and Furious, even Kong 3D, right? It's not the Kong we used to have when we were young, with the huge animatronic, the like real impressive. There's nothing right now about the Kong that we have that I care about. Like I could not experience that Kong part of the tour and not even care. Like there's nothing in it that's like it's cool. Sure, it's like it's fun to be a part of. Like it's not fun, but like I'm not riding the tram tour to experience Kong. So like if that's not there, I don't care. If that means they can get rid of those buildings and build more theme park stuff, I'd rather make the studio tour more of the toury stuff, like the earthquake building and the sets from movies that were filmed, etc. Like those to me are more interesting. That's a studio tour, like
Yeah, because
rather
when
than
when the when the studio tour doesn't actually go to metro sets, it sucks. It's like what? Because you know how they do like live filming, and they're like, "We're not going into the metros today." It takes away. It's like, is this a studio tour? Right? That's funny. That's a
yeah.
good one. Oh man, I love the studio tour. I try to get on it. Not every trip, but like it's always important to me. But the studio tour, could it be shorter? I think so. Uh, I don't know. The War of the Worlds and Jupiter Claim and Fast and Furious. I feel like that is not a good ending right now to the studio tour. Am I tripping on thinking that, or do other people feel that way?
No, I agree. I Jupiter's Claim was cool for like the first two years, right? Like that we saw it after like it's cool to see from the movie, but um like they didn't do anything to really up any of the stuff they had for Jurassic. Like they have Jurassic World like Lost, or they have Lost World Jurassic Park stuff. But they didn't like like bring some of the stuff from like Jurassic World. Like you filmed 3 Jurassic World movies. Like bring some of that. Update the tour with those.
And
You
another one
have
too was like where the Grinchmas part or Whoville, they're like, look at cars. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Here we have Bumblebee and I don't know. Yeah, this yeah. Let's keep it going. Chris Hatch, Mondo. Chris Hatch with the super chat. Mondo, do you think you'll be at HHN on the 25th? Because I'm coming from Vancouver. Will love the chance to meet you. I don't even know when the 25th is. No, I will be on a cruise, my friend. I won't even be in California. Man, if I'm back at HHN, it would just be, I guess, Halloween day. Like that last week into. Yeah, it would probably just be Halloween day. And that's if I even spend Halloween at HHN. But Chris, I hope you have a wonderful trip when you do come down, and I hope you buy early entry or express. Do you have any negatives you want to bring up, Danny?
For Universal?
Universal.
The only thing I could think of for Universal specifically, because I don't go to Universal as often, so a lot of the stuff I really enjoy. Like I love the themed immersive lands that they've been making lately and attractions. Um, and I've loved the rides that they've created for the most part. I think just some of the things that if I could think of any negatives when it comes to Universal is just in regards to like procedural, like daily things, right? Things that like are kind of always changing. You never know like really what's happening. You have like the Toadstool Cafe, like for the average guest, they don't really know how to
That was one of
experience.
my negatives, Danny. That was one of my
Yeah,
negatives. You
it's
just
not
can't.
really clear a lot of ways like how to do things, and I think that's like a thing that Universal like struggles with a lot. It's like they don't, it's not clear like on how things are supposed to go. um it's like even for HHN, like the whole early entry process when it was first new, like it wasn't really clear like on what you're supposed to do. Like I knew for a fact that like when early entry started, that I could just stay in the park. But
Yeah.
like some team members were telling me to leave the park and go back in the front gate at 5 o'clock. And then other team members were telling me I could stay in the park and just check in and get my early entry wristband. And then there was people already queuing on the lower lot for mazes they wanted, even though they said they weren't supposed to. So it's
Mhm.
like that's a lot of things you deal with at Universal. It's like people don't really know. Like there's like a mixed smash of information all over the place, and it's something they deal with a lot. And it's not easy or cheap to travel to LA, stay in LA, and go to Universal. So I feel like those things need to be ironed out if we're trying to make a better experience. And my other complaint that I wrote down about Universal was they don't have any Universal resorts. Maybe that'll change soon, right? We've heard rumors of all that, but with just a Sheraton and a Hilton, like it's not the best. People want to have that, I
That
can't
Disney
get the price.
experience, the Disneyland Hotel, the Grand
I can't get
California.
the prices of Cabana Bay Resort or Endless Summer at Universal Orlando that I can like look up the prices for Universal Hilton and Universal Sheridan. Like those are some high prices, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so
I
it's
would
just
love
not.
the idea of a resort coming to Universal Studios Hollywood, uh, just to like be in the bubble. You're just in. Imagine the resort also leads into the theme park or something. It'd be
Mhm.
cool. It'd be freaking cool. Um, One of my negatives, live entertainment. I wish we had more live entertainment at the plaza, at the lower lot. Um, you know, during summertime or I guess even Christmas, more Christmas time too. Because when Christmas comes, like for Grinchmas, it's kind of like an upper lot thing. The lower lot, you just get a Christmas tree down there. You know what I mean? I would hope more entertainment comes, and I don't know how they would do it. I know it sounds crazy, but if we could get can we just get that parade that was it Japan? Did Japan? Who's the one that got that Pokemon parade?
Yeah, Universal Japan.
I always wish a parade can happen at Universal Studios Hollywood. I don't know where it could happen, upper lot, lower lot, but a parade, I think, would just staple. It would just breed. I feel like a parade would just be bring the kids and wait till 2:00 or wait till 3:00 because the parade's happening. It's just like a solidifier of this is a family from any age can come and just have fun. That's what I think. I just want more entertainment because the loss of special effects and animal actors, it has to be picked up somewhere, right? Or are they just going to rely on Waterworld for the next, I don't know, however many years? It's a weird one. Another one that I put down is food options are not the best. Am I right to be in the negative there, or how do you feel about that one, Daddy?
Yeah, this one's confusing to me because, with the exception of Wizarding World, since they don't usually touch that, they start off with the fire menus at Universal for different restaurants, and then they just drop everything and bring burgers, and I don't get what's going on.
We've seen that evolution happen at Jurassic Cafe, where that menu is nothing of what it currently is. That menu was, I think, Costa Rica inspired and super.
Dude, they had at one point they had this amazing guacamole that you could buy a big bowl of that had pomegranate seeds mixed into it with plantain chips that you could dip in the guac. So good. So we did 5 videos on all the Jurassic World food.
I have it right here, Daddy. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Let me see if I can fast forward to it. Right here, dude. Look at this.
Oh
dude,
my.
Does any of this exist? Does any of this exist anymore?
No, the empanadas. Oh my god, the empanadas.
Oh, the empanadas, dude. Look at that. Dude. Hey, when has Jurassic Cafe looked like that again? Oh, I'm going to right. Hold on. Let me zoom out, Mondo. Oh my gosh. Right there. When's the last time that Universal looked like that? Or not Universal, Jurassic Cafe. Dude, does that wok and banana chip thing still exist? I don't even know.
No, they don't have plantain chips at all. They've removed. They just put regular fries back, just plain fries.
They're we're not. They're like, Daddy, that was a 2-month thing, dog. We don't keep this pace up.
Yeah, they just did it. And it was so good. The portions were great. It just, you don't get that really experience anymore, except for 3 broomsticks, and 3 broomsticks is really expensive. So you have to you have to get the main items of 3 broomsticks. But there's I feel like Minion Cafe too. We started off with a totally different menu, and there's new things there now they don't have anymore.
Look at that. That's tilapia, I think, right?
Yeah, look at that.
Dude.
That burger with plantain chips.
Yeah, dude, none of this exists anymore. It's crazy, dude.
Noah over there just enjoying it all.
I'm curious. What did Noah say back then? I want to know what Noah said. Let me see. Hold on. Let me put the volume up.
Noah have on?
This looks huge. Here we got the burger. What do you think?
I'm disappointed.
Oh man!
All right, I don't have the burger, so I gotta take a bite of it.
Just take a bite.
Just based on what we've had so far.
Yeah, I don't think the burger was good. I think everybody said it was just mid or bad. Damn, these are crazy days back then.
Tres leches, you gotta just.
Dude, tres leches. Oh man. But yeah, I think food quality could go up. The Mexican food place right across like Kung Fu Panda Theater, never eat there. I never eat there. Minions Cafe, I just don't care. Like for some reason, that menu it just doesn't fit me. I don't know why. Same thing with Hollywood and Dine, right there by Waterworld. Those restaurants like never call my name. I just stick to Luigi's and Krusty Burger and Three Broomsticks. Like that's kind of like I don't really go outside of that. Super chat from Space Mountaineer. Bring musicals to the park. You're freaking in Hollywood. I.e. Shrek, Back to the Future, DreamWorks, or Nintendo Light Up Show during grand opening. Mm-hmm. I think if they did a Back to the Future musical, game over. Game over. Because a Back to the Future musical already exists, like in Broadway or whatever. Dude, I would love a Back to the Future musical. I don't care for a Shrek show personally, but yeah, I agree too with the Nintendo Light Up show. It would be really good. It'd be really good. That was one of the ones too, like a negative that I had. This is one that people were saying. Do you feel this way, Danny? There's not enough to do.
Well,
how do you feel about that one?
I feel like this could very well be the case if you are not a person that wants to ride motion simulators. So if you don't want to ride Transformers because it's like a vomit rocket, and you don't want to ride Harry Potter because it's like motion simulator, you're also dealing the Minion attraction, another motion simulator. It really cuts the rides down on what you can experience. So that's like you can do Jurassic World, but then some people don't want to get wet. The Mummy, but people don't want to ride roller coasters. So like it really leaves you with like
Secret Life of Pets. That's it.
The Secret Life of Pets, the Kung Fu Panda like experience,
studio tour.
You had a couple shows before, but we lost them, right? Special effects show. Animal actor show. We have Waterworld still that you can experience. That's something that you can do if you don't want to ride rides. But like Mondo was saying, without the shows and other attractions that are kind of like less motion simulatory, like there's not a lot for other people to do. So I hope in the future they can go away from some of those things. And give us more like Secret Life of Pets, because that was really cool.
Okay, same idea. I want to keep putting this in the universe, Danny. If Universal Studios Hollywood brought a boat ride, like Pirates of the Caribbean style dark ride, what would it be? What would it be, Danny? Universal Studios Hollywood. What IP should we put in there at Hollywood, at our Hollywood? Who cares where it goes? But what should it be? A water boat ride at Hollywood. Where would it? What should it be?
Well, I mean, we already have Jurassic World, right?
No. But like a complete dark ride, like Pirates, like a pirate style. So another boat ride. I guess that is true. We have Jurassic, but another one.
Man, they have so many possibilities. They have such a great like plethora of different franchises to choose from, but I would love like a Universal Monsters boat ride.
Oh damn! Jeez.
Yeah.
Dude, it would. I was gonna say Jaws. Like if we could get a Jaws ride, like a Jaws dark ride, but no, Universal Monsters would take the cake for me.
Yeah, you could go through like the swamp of the creature from the Black Lagoon, and then transition to like Transylvania, and you got Dracula there. Then you got Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, and all these.
That ride could get dirty, dude. It'd be good. Yeah, I was gonna say Jaws, but nah, Universal Monsters it'd just be insane. It'd be insane. All right. Not too many negatives, I guess, from Universal. The big one, I think the biggest negative is park needs to expand. I could. There's no other bigger negative than that. Oh, before we get out of here, and end everything, Universal Express for pass holders needs to just go away with the 3:00 rule. I am so over the 3:00 rule for Express. I really feel that's a huge negative for the pass. Maybe if it went up $100 and they did away with the Express rule, I'd be cool with that. But I'm over the 3:00 rule of Express. I don't know if other people are negative about that, but I definitely am. I miss the days where I could show up on any day and be like, I want to do Jurassic World right now, and I just go do Jurassic World with my Platinum Pass. Yeah, I miss that big time. But that's it. I don't really like. I feel like Disneyland's the one where it's like it keeps getting pushed in. Like, you know what I mean? Like the hammer keeps nailing the nail. Gosh, I suck at metaphors right now, but yeah, I feel like the one that it seems like it has more gripe is Disneyland, or more critical, I guess you could say. But that's it. Overall thoughts, closing thoughts, Danny. Where you at? Where you at? How do you feel? A lot of negative. We needed a little positive in our life, but that'll be next week.
Yeah. So this is for those that are tuning in. This is part 1 of 2. So we're going through all the bad so that we can end on a good note next week and talk about all the positive, right? Because everything can't be positive all the time. So
not at all.
Bring to light some of the things people have complaints about or whatnot. So that was kind of the purpose of the live. If you're watching, so if you're interested to see kind of what we think positive and what things are going right for all these parks, you can tune in next week so we can kind of cover both sides because we got to be fair, right? We can't just sing the praises of everything. But I think overall, I would say all these options really have a lot more positives, in my opinion, that outweigh the negatives. In some instances, we have a lot to say about Disney, right? Just because so much of Disney has changed from what we know, the way that it was.
And Disney's the biggest one at all of these, like from a theme park size. They got 2 parks.
Yeah, and I think so people have a lot to say when it comes to that kind of stuff. And the others are more like nitpicks, really. So,
my closing thoughts. Honestly, I feel going over a lot of these negatives. I feel it's a lot of stuff that could be turned around, and I guess you could say fixed, or at least more manageable, or it could, like, a lot of these things we brought up today could be turned around and headed in the right direction. But it obviously, a lot of these things involve massive budgets, and I hope these California-based theme parks see a bright future and truly invest, because theme parks are something that families and locals want to do. And if Universal and Knott's keeps doing what they're doing, and if they expand, I really feel like not just a local presence, but maybe more people from out of state want to travel to a Knott's or a Universal and stuff like that. Same thing with Disneyland. If Disneyland Forward happened, I almost want to say it's just game over for all the theme parks. Disneyland Forward is untouchable. Like, if it happens,
I was going to say, Mondo, I can't believe that we did a whole episode on negatives. We went through Disneyland and you didn't talk about Magic Bands.
Oh,
I thought for sure Magic Bands was going to be on your list. When we were talking, I was like, Mondo's going to put that on his list for sure.
It's just because Magic Bands are just so irrelevant. They're irrelevancy. I wanted to talk about stuff that was relevant. That's really what it is, Dan. Magic Bands, irrelevancy. I'm just going to drop them in the irrelevancy bucket. Don't even need to be discussed. But that's it. Danny, what can we expect from you? Do you got any vlogs, podcasts? What do you got going on? Just to let people know.
Yeah, we have 5571 podcast coming out on Wednesday, so you can make sure you subscribe there. Comes out weekly, every single week, new episode, Tuesday or Wednesday. It seems like we've been getting news drops later, so I'm kind of like waiting till like Wednesday seems to be a good day, so I'm like going back and forth. I feel like I want to do Tuesday when there's something big that happens on the weekend that I want to talk about, so it's still fresh. But there is a lot of things happening, but it's a little bit of a slower news time frame right now. As Mondo can tell you, we're in that lull between like we're like
there ain't nothing going on at Disneyland.
Yeah, I went to Disney this weekend to try to film a video for like an update. There's not too much going on. Not too much going on. I will say though, Mondo, I did film the changes at the Mark Twain, and the Mark Twain got a brand new wheel, like fully new wheel. I was shocked. It looks really good too. It's like, so that thing was pretty slimy and just like kind of really rotted, having been in the water for so long. So it was weird to see like a brand new like wood wheel on the back of the Mark Twain.
I can't wait to see that. I can't wait. That was not cheap. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's custom like wood and like the metal, the iron that is not cheap. That is not cheap for sure. And then like the entire Mark Twain's like covered in scaffolding, and they're like redoing the painting and like. So there's a little bit of updates I have coming soon. That's going to be coming out this week as well too. But it is a little bit of a slower week because there's not too much stuff going on. We just had the hotel open. We had Tiana's open before that. So we're just kind of in this weird lull period where the holidays haven't started yet. But there'll still be 2 things this week you can do. So make sure you're following to get all those.
Heck yeah. Luz XO dropping a super chat on the way out. Best duo, Danny, Mondo, 5-5. All right, Danny. Incredible speculation Sunday on a Monday. Thank you for your time, Danny. I can't wait to check out those videos because I can't be at Disneyland, so I'm going to see it through your eyes. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for your time. Thank you for hanging out with us on this beautiful Monday night. And we'll see you real soon. Next Sunday? No. I think we might have to do it Saturday because I'm going to be on a cruise.
Yeah, I was going to say, you took the words right out of my mouth. We might have to be doing it on Saturday.
On Saturday, we're going to do part 2. Let's get positive, and we're going to talk about all the good things that these theme parks are doing. It's the same concept like we did it today, but the good things. We're going to get. It's going to be a fun. We're going to end on a good note. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching Five Fires YouTube. Please subscribe, smash that like button. But we are firing it down. The Cali Bay, just as Danny are calling it a day. I'm the main host, Mondo.